Hello everyone and welcome to the Endlessrise VIP bi-weekly webinar series. If everyone can hear me okay, if you can give me a shout out in the questions box and just let me know if you can see my screen okay. You should see Mastering How to Sell Social Media PowerPoint up. All right, sounds good. Hopefully everyone's having a great week so far. So to kick things off, today what we were going to be going is we were going to be going over one, yes, social media, but also pay-per-click advertising. If we don't make it clear through PPC, then what we're going to want to do is we're going to, I'm sorry, if we don't make it clear through social media, then what we're going to want to do is continue PPC on the next one. So first of all, how many of you out there have sold social media before to a client? Not as in a couple line items on an SEO package, but how many of you are actively selling social media to your clients out there? Okay. Looks like about half of you have and half of you have not. So let me just reach back to ground zero on this. Keep in mind inside of your dashboard in services, you can go to the social media tab on services, and from there you're going to see all of the different packages that we offer, and you'll see your pricing on them. It's just a demo account, so there's not pricing in it. And you'll see the recommended duration. You can run these campaigns for 1 month or more. It's really up to you. Some of these we put 1 month because there's not really a duration. If there's not an ongoing monthly cost, there's only one. A lot of these, keep in mind, we have, for instance, Facebook setup and design, and then we have the Facebook marketing packages. Then we have the Google Plus setup and design, and then the marketing packages. Twitter setup and design, and then the marketing packages. So what you're able to do is, if you want to come in and sell an add-on to an SEO package or PPC or web design or SEO, then you can come in and you can just, if you wanted to just sell the Facebook setup and design, you can do that. It's a separate line item from the marketing on it. And remember, the view package details, you can go here and view all the package details for the social media. We're still releasing the new services menu for social media. The packages will be the same for now, but we're releasing the new design upgrade so that the service line items will be in the same format as the SEO, local buzz, and site audits here shortly. So that's the overview on that. Now on the PowerPoint, what we're going to be going over roughly is we're going to be going over the Google Plus, the Twitter, and the LinkedIn, and we're just going to be talking about the line items in general and what they mean and why they're important. And one other thing that I needed to show you, keep in mind for those of you who do not know, on the document library, because we're going to be going over the sales collateral on social media a bit during the PowerPoint presentation. When you come into the document library, on the right hand side you've got your sales collateral category, and inside of here the social media sales collateral. We're going to be going over that. So if you don't have the social media sales collateral, make sure to go into the document library, go to sales collateral on the right hand side, and you can just click to view because it's a link, but that will allow you to download it, and it'll give it to you in a doc, ODT, and PDF formats so that everyone can enjoy that. Okay, so back to the PowerPoint. So the goal with social media, of course, is a little bit different from SEO. You're looking to generate a social buzz or traffic, and it applies to a lot of different people. So let me go ahead and kick this thing off. So in terms of ramping up your social media sales, I mean, one of the things you want to do is you want to understand who you're pitching your sales pitch to. We always like to differentiate the difference between a technical sales pitch and a value sales pitch. If you're pitching to someone who's pretty social media savvy, they've ran their own social media campaigns before, then you're going to want to know our line items fairly well to be able to explain what it is that we're doing. So make sure that you always go through the work report well and understand the line items and what they mean. In terms of the value sales pitch, it's going to be someone who really doesn't know so much of what they're talking about. Social media, they just know that they want an online presence. They probably know that their competitors are involved in social media. And you're going to get this a lot, especially for those of you out there that are used to just selling SEO or even web design or maybe PPC, which is the more standard marketing route on this. But oftentimes you're going to get asked about social media. People will probably just say, "Well, I see my competitors on it a lot." And what are the needs that a value sales pitch will address? the same needs that any value sales pitch is going to address. You're going to address how it's going to get them more customers, how it's going to bring them more sales, how it's going to bring them a higher profit and a higher ROI. And for now, I mean, there's a lot of reports that you can run for social media for people. A lot of it is just looking at the social media that they do have. But for the most part, the sales collateral is built to offer the value sales pitch. So we're going to be taking a closer look at the sales collateral because it pretty much goes over everything. And if everyone could give me a shout out, how many of you have downloaded the social media sales collateral and even, well, whether you've downloaded it, and for those of you that have downloaded it and branded it, maybe you could say yes and branded it as well. Okay, great. Looks like we got some social media fans on here because it's looking, most people have branded it already. Wow, that's awesome. Great. Courtney says, "Is that the local buzz?" No, no, not the local buzz. Local buzz sales collateral is completely different from social media sales collateral. Completely different. Okay, so how does the social media sales collateral tell you the value? Well, it's very straightforward. It starts out telling you why it's valuable. In other words, 1 in 6 minutes online is spent on social networks. That's a pretty big deal. You got to remember that who you're pitching social media to, they do not understand industry statistics. They're not marketing people. They don't know that 1 in 6 minutes online is spent on social media networks. And hopefully that doesn't apply to our employees while they're at work. But sometimes it does. The 70%, 6% of social media users are generally in a positive mood before, during, and after their participation in social networking. That's a really unique statistic to pay attention to because buying depends a lot on mood. And if you're able to get in front of your buyers and the people while you're marketing, whenever they're in a good mood and they're doing something they want to be doing, it's going to make an impact. In terms of where it's going, where the trend with social media is going, in a survey in 2008, they asked people how many of them actively engage in social sites, and for instance, in daily deal sites for finding local businesses, specifically for finding local businesses. How many people go to non-search sites? In other words, how many people go to find local businesses and they're not using Google, Yahoo, and Bing search engines? And in 2008, 4% of them said that they would go outside of the major search engines to find local businesses. And then in 2011, 15% of them said, and since then I'm sure that it's just gone up. And again, this is from 2012 study in 2011, but still, that's still a really huge increase, and it's still increasing dramatically. So there's really no question about it in terms of where social media is going in the future, especially since some of the primary, social engines such as Facebook is implementing and continuing to evolve their own search engine. In terms of local business search users and how many of them engage in what we call social local content through the usage of consumer reviews and whether they're contributing to them or not. A lot of these social platforms, and even Google Places is now renamed to Google Plus Local. It's considered social media now. Yeah, it's Google Maps technically, but it's become social, and it became social a long time ago whenever people are freely able to post on your profile. It's now social. And now that it integrated with Google Plus, it's very social. And of course, Facebook is the same way. So you got to keep in mind that whenever it does come to social media, reviews are a big part of it. And being able to keep up with your social media will help to make sure that your exposure throughout the social realm is as a positive one. And as you can see here, 70% read other users' experiences, 65% of people surveyed learn more about business brands and products through social media, 53% compliment brands, 50% express concerns about brands, products, and services through the social media channels. So it is important to keep up with. In terms of social network local business search users being engaged with the local content, again, the percentages are really high, and this makes social media a very good venue to build brands, customer loyalty, and word of mouth. In terms of customer acquisition through social media, that's also increasing. Social media didn't start out as a channel to be selling products. For those of you that remember, when the days were always MySpace, for those of you that remember when Facebook wasn't even around, people weren't online shopping through social media. People didn't used to advertise a lot through social media channels. It was very basic. But the idea of going on to the social media platforms and purchasing something is becoming more and more and more popular. It was just the other day, my brother had a new baby boy, and I was looking to send him a gift, and I was right there on Facebook typing him a message, and sure enough, you can click send a gift on Facebook, and right from Facebook you can buy a gift and send it. So not only can you buy products on Facebook now, but since social media platforms are integrating the ability to sell products, it's becoming easy. The movement of people visiting social media to engage in purchasing products or engage in promotions is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And these are just some stats on that and how many people have on customer acquisition through various channels. And that customer acquisition, whether it's through buying a product or people are signing up for your service, whether you're a dentist or a contractor or a car dealership, the percentages have gone up. And they went up the most actually in LinkedIn. And in terms of what are your competitors doing, if we look at the statistics in terms of recent surveys, social media ranks second with growing importance as a source of leads for businesses. So of those that were surveyed, that said 94% of them said that SEO, if they were to engage in it or they are engaged in it, 94% of people surveyed said that that was number one, and 85% had said that social media was number one. So, and these were in isolated surveys. So social media, even by surveys, is still really high and gaining in terms of online marketing popularity, and that's pretty staggering. If you would have asked that, if you would have done that survey even a year ago, those numbers would be a lot different. So, although as SEO starts to become a bit more intertwined with social media, there are some overlaps. For instance, in Facebook, if you do a search and there's no relevant results, well, you get Bing search results. So those two overlap. And of course, the Google Plus Local is considered social media to a certain degree, but it mixes in with organic rankings, of course, because you can find that social presence through organic searches. So keep in mind, there is a lot of overlap when people do say social media. Social media ranks second as medium, ranks second as medium for content marketing by businesses as well. So 80% of the, based on this survey, which was done by Marketing Sherpa, people were placing 80% importance on their web pages and 72% on social media. More and more people are really getting into Facebook specifically. A lot of people have Facebook business pages, and especially the really small businesses. Some of them don't even have a website, which personally I don't recommend at all. I think everyone should have a website, but it is a growing trend. The value sales pitch, in terms of understanding how many big brands are really, really heavily involved in social media. Every big brand is, every big brand is involved in it. Everyone's engaging in it, and it's a really big deal. And that specifically, what I'm referring to is Facebook marketing, Google Plus marketing, LinkedIn marketing, as well as Twitter marketing. And again, the future as well. More to talk about the future, and this is specifically for Facebook. And Facebook has grown, as we all know, tremendously from 2010 through 2012, and you can read those statistics yourself. And honestly, I don't think anyone has much question about Facebook growing, because the only competition that Facebook has that's really legitimate right now is Google Plus, and really Facebook just has such a strong presence. And this will be interesting. If everyone give a shout out on what social media outlet you think is the number one in the world, or you recommend for your clients out of Google Plus, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. If you had to choose one as the top one, give me a shout out in the questions and let me know what you think the top one is. And I guess I should say I'm talking about B2C, so local businesses specifically that service their clients, which would be like, for instance, a doctor's office has direct clients, auto dealers have direct clients, florists have direct clients. There we go. The answer switched real quick from being LinkedIn to Facebook. So some people are saying that Google Plus has the best ROI. So I would agree that Facebook probably is the best for B2C. LinkedIn is probably the best for B2B, and Google Plus is right there in between the both of them. serves well. And one of the things for Google Plus as well is Google Plus spans. We'll talk about Google Plus a little bit more, but Google Plus has a lot of interaction. People recommend setting up Google Plus has more to do than with SEO than just social media, and that's why Google Plus is kind of unique in its own way, because Google Plus is your gateway to authorship and publishership. And Google Plus is also your gateway to, your integration with your Google Places, which has to do with your rankings as well. So Google Plus is very unique on bridging a gap between B2B and B2C business, and the gap between that and your site and organic. So Google Plus, for value in marketing, I'd probably put Google Plus at the top. If I had to isolate everything else down and just say direct social media marketing for B2C, I'd have to say Facebook, and B2B, I would have to go with LinkedIn. And here we are on LinkedIn and the future. 87 million users in 200 countries to date. Sign up 2 new members every second, which is a pretty big deal. Customer acquisition success rate had 61% in regards to B2B and 39% for B2C. So clearly, just based on their own statistics on acquisition, we're looking at, and for LinkedIn, clearly, LinkedIn is primarily targeted towards B2B. In terms of the future in Twitter, 200 million monthly active users, generates over 340 million tweets daily, and handles more than 1.6 billion search queries per day. Twitter's massive, and to be honest, I've never really understood how Twitter took off and went so viral, honestly. But people are really into Twitter. It's still really popular, and it's something that's worth updating. You can get backlinks from Twitter, and you can get subscribers pretty easily. Pretty much people that pay attention to Twitter, and there's people that do not. But clearly, there's a lot of people that do pay attention to Twitter, and it's still growing. The main point behind the Google Plus, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, primarily Facebook and Google Plus, is if you have fans, if you have friends, they have friends, and friends become friends of friends, and it creates that whole viral connection, which is a really big deal. It has a lot to do with branding, but given the right business and the right audience, it can also generate a lot of traffic. And so brands control 3 basic levers that determine social media marketing success, and this is by ComScore. And many brands don't consider these intermediary steps, but once you get fans, then you brand your messages, reach fans in news feeds, and by news feeds, that can just be posting on your different walls or profiles. Fans talk about the news feeds content spread to friends, and the whole thing becomes viral. So you get your fan reach, your engagement, and your amplification. And again, it requires an audience of interested people in your type of service, product, or content that you're publishing, and it also requires decent branding on part of the company itself. So the value sales pitch is pretty straightforward. You need to understand what it is that's being offered, but really the sales collateral will walk you through almost the entire value sales pitch. The technical sales pitch has a bit more to do with line item by line item and understanding what that is. And because there's so many different social media service offerings, we're going to blend them a bit together, and then I can start to go through the packages one by one. But on the technical sales pitch, of course, it's going to be someone that understands social media, and they've probably either done it on their own or they've been handling it internally. And what are the needs that you need to be prepared for if you need to engage in a technical style of sales pitch? Well, you need to understand the core methodologies behind why we do what we do. And in social media, it's pretty straightforward. Understanding why we would design something, or why we would comment on something, why we would update something, why we would acquire a friend or join a group, is pretty straightforward. SEO methodologies really understand quite a bit of explaining on some things to understand why this would impact your rankings, but social media is pretty straightforward because the overall goal is simple. It's to increase the awareness of the brand. It's to increase customer loyalty. It's to convert clients and increase traffic, right? And in the end, the goal is to make more money.